Welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. Today we're going to be looking at the Ferrari FF. Now the Ferrari FF is an interesting car. The FF stands for Ferrari 4. It's got 4 seats and it's 4-wheel drive. When this vehicle was released, it was a bit controversial because of this, the rear end on this vehicle. This is a hatchback wagon. Of course, you wouldn't call it a hatchback wagon if you're Ferrari. You call it a shooting brake, which is a fancy way of just not calling it a hatchback wagon. Now, as we go around and look at this car, you'll see there's not carbon fiber to look at. Like all Ferraris, this one's aluminum all throughout. As a matter of fact, there are 23 different metals in this body, most of them custom aluminum alloys. Now it's easy for your attention to keep getting drawn to this hatchback. I mean, mine was when I first saw it. But once I started looking into the details, it's a really cool car. And one of the most interesting points is how Ferrari tackled 4-wheel drive. It's different than any other car out there. For a typical 4-wheel drive system, what you would have is your engine up here, your transmission going to roughly the middle of the car where you have power distribution, which is going to determine where each wheel gets power. Ferrari took a completely different approach. Instead, they have an engine and your typical rear-wheel drive system going all the way to the rear. There's an additional gearbox on the front of the engine, which distributes roughly 20% of the power to the front wheels in specific situations. Let's check out under the hood. So here's something kind of fun about this car. It's really unimportant, but I just found it amusing. The hood release is dead center. Instead of being way over here in the corner, it's dead center. I don't have an interesting fact as to why, but I think it's interesting just that it is. I haven't seen that on another car. What we have under the hood here is a 6.3 liter V12. It's a huge engine for a car like this. It'll push it 0 to 60 in about 3.6 seconds. That's wild. Behind the engine, you have your standard 7-speed Ferrari gearbox, and then up here we have the additional gearbox for the front wheels. By going with this split system, with the transmission in the back for your rear wheels and this front transmission for your front wheels, Ferrari managed to shave off nearly 50% of the weight you would find in a typical 4-wheel drive system. The interior on this is absolutely gorgeous. The leather everywhere is just so soft and the stitching is gorgeous. The seats. I love the seats in this car. They're just almost gooey with how soft and mushy they are. It feels fantastic and they look great too. Now earlier I said there was no carbon fiber in this car to look at, and that's not really completely true. The steering wheel has a bunch of carbon fiber. This is your typical race setup steering wheel with the turn signals on the wheel, paddle shifters, some, your engine start and some of your other settings. This one in particular is one to keep an eye on. This changes your driving from snow and ice to wet, comfort, sport, etc. The 4-wheel drive is only engaged whenever you're in wet or comfort. The rest of the time, it's just a rear-wheel drive car. Some other things I love about this interior. The passenger side footplate. People can press their feet on a nice footplate there whenever they're getting terrified because you're driving too fast. It's a nice little touch. The center console here, great handles for holding on, getting in, getting out. Feels good. This leather is just fantastic. And the fact that it can seat 4 people comfortably is amazing. If you'd like to feel like you're sitting inside this car, be sure to click on the 360-degree interactive video in the description below. Let's check out what we have back here under the hatchback. So what did Ferrari gain by adding a hatchback to this vehicle? Well, a tremendous amount of space. I mean, not only can you seat 4 people, you actually have storage. The rear seats fold down, and even though you do have this hump where your gas tank is, you can hold a lot of stuff back here. Thanks for joining me again and going through this really cool Ferrari FF with me. Be sure to like and subscribe for more exotic cars and interesting automobiles. Once again, I'd like to thank Premier Sports Cars for giving me access to their inventory. You should go to their website, premiercars.com,
And you can find more information about this specific Ferrari. And if you see anything else in their inventory you'd like me to do a video on, let me know.